the TGL partner?
It's a great question because this isn't your grandfather's golf. We did some rehearsals last week with Rory McIlroy and Keegan Bradley, and the one thing both of them said is how quickly it moves. I mean, it is fast-paced golf. There's a 40-second shot clock. There's been shot clock violations. There's timeouts. There's ways to make the holes worth more money. It's a legitimate competition while playing golf, and I think fans are going to love the technology. I think they're going to love the intimate relationships they have with the players during the broadcast. I mean, all of it's basically if you want to hear Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy read putts with other players, they're mic'd up. You're going to hear that. If you want to hear why they did something they did, I'm going to ask them. You'll hear that. And so I think that we're just going to bring you in your living room with something that the sport's never seen.
And, Matt, you brought up a lot of interesting points there, especially the intimacy surrounding the players talking and I guess the surrounding state-of-the-art nature of the SoFi Center, which is going to be in Palm Beach Gardens in the area. We'll get into that, the actual center in a second. But first, as the play-by-play man of this crew, you're going to be live on site. This is something new. This is something that there's not necessarily a blueprint in terms of how to do a broadcast in this sense. This is not like doing the U.S. Open or the Masters. This is something a whole different where you could actually have access to the golfers in between rounds. Is this going to be sort of a learning process for you as a sportscaster, and also how you want to kind of test boundaries based on some of the norms surrounding, I guess, broadcasting golf?
There you go. You hit it on the head. We're gonna be disruptors. We are gonna test boundaries. We are gonna do things that you'll never see on another broadcast. And I think that's what makes it risky, and that's what makes it exciting. And for me, I think the biggest balance is this: when you have 6 of the best players in the world playing each other every Tuesday night in primetime on ESPN, my job is to stay out of the way and let the viewer hear them communicate with each other, talk trash to each other, and have fun. But then it's also my job to bring the best out of these players after a funny moment, after a bad shot, after a disagreement with a strategy on a team. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a feeling out process for the players as well. They're going to have to play 15 holes, under 2-hour match with hearing me the whole time. And I'll respect them and when they're getting ready to hit. But I think everyone's going to feel it out to understand how exactly to best execute while seeing the best golf and bringing the best out of everyone.
Now, Matt, there are teams here, partner. I got the Boston Common Golf, Jupiter Links Golf Club. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 teams on here. Is this going to be obviously a big part of this, or are they going to combine scores for these teams, and you think people are going to get behind a specific team and back them?
So, look, if you're from the New England area and you're watching one of the matches of Boston Common Golf, and you have Keegan Bradley, Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Scott, whatever 3 are going to be playing. If you're watching it and you're from that area, you're just going to inherently root for the team that's got Boston in front of it, right? Same thing with New York, same thing in L.A., same thing with the Bay Area, same thing with Atlanta. Jupiter Links is the Florida home team, and it's got Tiger, and they're loaded. So what's going to happen is here's what's going to happen. Viewers are going to look at it, and they're going to say they're going to default to their normal DNA of just watching player A and player B play golf. And then when they see the scoring format, points per hole, and state and city teams attached to it, I think then you'll see people starting to switch that mindset of, oh, Atlanta's playing this week. Oh, Jupiter's playing this week. It'll start to take off that way.
Talking with Matt Barrie, the ESPN Sports Center host, but also going to be the play-by-play man for the inaugural broadcast crew on the TGL, which is premiering Tuesday, January 7th, 9 p.m. on ESPN and ESPN+. Matt, another thing you mentioned, too, is that state-of-the-art SoFi Center. You're going to be broadcasting from there. I know they're going to have a whole bit of media sector of it, but I've actually had the pleasure of walking through this SoFi Center. It's over in Palm Beach Gardens, just north of us in West Palm. And let me just tell you this, a couple things that I want to bring up before I get your thoughts on it. I'm sure you've seen it. If not, I'm curious on what your expectations are. First of all, it's state-of-the-art in terms of the technology. One of the biggest screens I've ever seen is going to be that actual golf simulator aspect of it, and, of course, the rotating green and everything. But my biggest surprise is, of course, this place is kind of like a big hangar, but it's so intimate. And there's only going to be like a couple thousand people in the building, this is going to be a different in-person feel comparatively than what people are used to. This is going to be a very, I am fascinated to see, I guess from an in-person versus a television perspective, just how intimate this can really get. I know that's part of the brand. That's why TGL is going to be so intriguing. But from your perspective, you probably have seen the SoFi Center over in Palm Beach Gardens. What have been your reactions to it, and sort of it leans into the intimacy of it all?
Yeah, so my first time I walked in, and I said, holy, and looked around, because it really is something like you've never seen before. And the way that they've built it, and the way that the lighting is done, which, by the way, they hired the person who's in charge of lighting at WWE, and you know how the lighting is during those shows. The way that they have the LEDs wrapped around the arena with the players and the team names, the quality of the surface, the screen, just all the technology. You just walk in, you're like, this is a golfer's paradise. That's the first thing you think of, golfer's paradise. Then when you realize you can fit 1,500 people in there, and those people that are fortunate enough to come see it in person, see how close they are to some of the best players in PGA Tour history. I mean, if you're a golf fan, you're going to want to come see it because you are right there with them. And pictures don't do it justice. I've said this a million times. Pictures and videos don't do it justice. You have to see it to believe it, because that screen is one of the biggest things I've ever seen. And the care and the quality of what they've built. I keep using this term. The eye candy in person and on television is going to be something else.
Matt, what is the golf fan going to be most surprised about when it comes to the TGL when they tune in?
How competitive these guys are going to be. Like I said, we've done some practice, some rehearsals with some of the players, and they might come in thinking, well, I'm one of the best players of all time, or I'm this and I'm that. I can just come in here and play air quote simulator golf. It's not simulator golf. It's a different style of golf, and so they're going to come in, and you're going to see their competitive juices flow. You're going to see them get excited about things. You're going to see them throw the hammer, which is a thing that goes back and forth, that if a team throws it down, the hole's now worth 2 points. You're going to see gamesmanship. You're going to see everything that you and I would do with our buddies playing golf that you never see on tour. And now you're going to see it in this setting, and you're going to see it. It's going to happen quick, and you're going to wait. It's going to end. You're like, wait, it's over? They won. It happened that quickly. And I think that's what I'm excited about, is the pace with which fans are going to get to enjoy it.
Matt, in your experience so far, I know we're yet to call a game, but who's been the most competitive? You mentioned that you're surprised. The people are going to be surprised at the competitive nature. Which golfer's kind of been the most gung-ho so far?
Well, so I was able to get in there for the rehearsal with Keegan and Rory for Boston Common Golf. And they played a team of really good amateurs. Tyler Strafacci, one of the best amateurs in the country at Georgia Tech. So they went in there, and you could tell right away that Keegan and Rory, and it was their first time in there, that they wanted to come in and win. And they noticed, the holes are the design of the holes are 30 holes, 15-hole matches. The design is incredible. Like one hole, you got to clear 300 feet to get over lava to get onto the fairway. So that's the uniqueness of it, right? Like you're not just going tee box, fairway, green, move on. And so towards the end, they were icing each other with timeouts before someone putt. So the competitiveness was there. They knew that they had to think about the putt for the win. Keegan was big on throwing the hammer to make the hole worth more points. And you really started to see him start picking up strategy. And that's going to be another thing that you don't see in golf. There's strategy with how to hit a shot. And now there's going to be strategy with getting the stuff off where the 40-second shot clock runs out, calling strategic timeouts, and using the hammer to make the hole more valuable.
Clock management.
Yeah.
We got clock management.
It really does add to the allure of the intrigue is a big sell in what the TGL is doing, because it's something that golf is sort of that traditionalist vibe where people need to be quiet. They need to make sure they stay out of the way. People play at the wrong pace.
We want Vegas.
And this is not that.
We want a Vegas party. No, we want a party. We want to be a party with golf. We want it to look like spring break golf with the best players in the world. And you know what I hope happens? I hope the old golf curmudgeons get so mad at it at first, but then they can't turn away because it's going to be one of the most exciting things I've ever seen.
All publicity is good publicity, whether